Right, what we're going to do now is fit the new bearings in place. We've done all our markings up, we've put the ruler in, use some magnets to keep it all in place so we get the pen and mark everything so we get a correct lineness. We've then put the bearings in. We've put the bearings in, as you can see. You've got the markings there, which you can then use with the markings you've made inside of the block. And then you've got your orientation marking there, which is the bits that you have here. So once you basically put that in, you can locate that round, and then at least then you can see where it needs to be, and then you know that your orientation for the oil hole is in the correct location round that you can't see when you've got everything fitted and you're actually pulling them in. So these are all our bits and bobs, wattles, mandrels, core plug, main mandrel that goes all the way through. You've got the A and B mandrel which sits at the front. You've got your threaded bar, your washers, your nuts and your lock nuts. Plus your cam, what we're going to do for later on when we fit everything in. I might do that at the end of the video, I might do that as a second part to the end in another video, fitting it all and checking for its tolerances. I have pre-put the bearings onto the cam just to make sure that they were nice and they weren't tied to anything, and as they've come as pre-finished bearings, they're bang on. They're very nice, they've got the right tolerances. Once they're pressed in, they might close up very slightly, but there's enough tolerance, what I've measured on the cam, to the bearings to not cause any problems once they're fitted in and putting the cam in and it nicely freely turning. So, anymore, let's crack on and start fitting. So, what we need is, we need that. We need to start building up our stuff. So let's get everything out ready. So what we're going to need is, we're going to need A, which is going to go in that way. We're going to have C, which is going to be the one that pulls in bearing number 2. So we're going to start that, and that last. We need our bearing, making sure it's going to the direction you go with the lip, which is going to be that way. You're going to have your core plugs. We're going to have that, so it'll go more like this. This will be the order it goes in. Like that. So, what we need to do is pre-fit the nut on. We are the right way, we're not that way. That's the locking nut end. So, put that on. We want to thread this down to the purple end. There we go. What we'll do is we'll put that into position, so like that. We would have that goes on like that. Then what we would do is we would fit this into place. bring that up to there. And then what we do is we actually start sliding this in. So, all the way through. Remembering not to put this on yet because you would end up knocking it out as you bring through. So, now we've got our first bit in, we can put our core plug handle in. That all sits in place. We then use our brush, our nut, and then what we'll do is I'll put our nut on and lock all this up into place. You could not put that in. If you had a spanner like I've made that goes in nicely, then you don't need to put any of this on. This is only really required for, let me move that around so you can see it more. This is only really required on the removal part of these two bearings. Everything else, you don't really need it because you have this. I made this up, so it was cut it down so it literally fitted in. If you don't have that, then really having that just makes life a lot easier. But you have to put it on and off a bit, so it's up to you. So what you do is find the location hole of the marking, which has got the marking in there. Rotate all this round to where it needs to be, which is basically there. You should be able to then feel where it is. Get your Allen key, pre-start it. And then that's all ready. Then what you need to do is start to work out our orientation. So I'd slacken that off just a tiny bit and then start spinning this round. You can see the hole for the oil, we're coming round, and then we've got our point there. So what we need to do then is tighten that up, and that is it. And you would put one tool on there. You'd use your other spanner, your 30, which would go on there. If I can put that in there, it might allow you to see a bit. Let's make sure the camera's in the right position. What we could do is zoom in a bit. And then what we'll do is we'll start pulling it. Just making sure that it's lined up. And then literally start. Turning it. Right, once you get to that point, you now want to start looking for this lip, because that's the point where you want to go no further. That means it's seated in the correct position. We are roughly around there. So what I would do is lock it up off, or slacken it off, I would then take this all the way back to the end, and then holding this end, slowly release it, and then push it back enough, push that out so you can get to it. Sometimes you need longer fingers. Then you can take a look to make sure that it is correctly in place. And to be honest, that is near enough as good as you're going to get it. But I am going to just pull it slightly to make it really bang on. Doesn't need it, but I think you could go a tiny bit more of a pull. So, let's do it, go. Hang on. Put that back there so I can see it. Oh, it's just to go tiny. That is enough. That is enough. And that's it. That's that one done. Oh, and then once again, that should come out easier now. Let's just see what that's like. Yeah, that's bang on. Bang on. Right, so what we now need to do is put in this way. So taking everything off, but let me zoom out. You need to carefully take this out now because we've got this bearing in. What you could do is reseat that bearing back in. That will stop any possible dropping out. I would then take that end off and just place that there for a second. And I then slowly pull that out by keeping your finger there. But you're going to get to a point where we've got the nut and all that. So then that's when you need to keep this back in to help centralise everything. Slowly take that out and then continue to pull it out. You'll get to a point where you start to know that it's going to come out. And there you go. Take that out nicely. Take everything off. Get your tool. You could in a way leave that on because we're going to go the other way. Because this is now going to go that way to help pull this one in. We'll just take it off for now. Put that there, take that one off, take that one out, put that one there. Right, now what you need to do is we're going to flip this round. And we will need to go to this end. So it will be like there. So, what we need now would be frost washers. we will need then our bearing number 3. Remember the lip side that way. We will pre-put that in like that. We can put that on like that. I will then use that to go in that way, which should be A side as our guide. But to be safe, I'll take that out just in case we knock it out. So, what we're going to do now is thread this through. You need to put your fingers through because we don't want to damage anything. And then nicely pull that all the way through. Till you get that point there. Once that's in, that will stop it from dropping around. And then you can get this one. That will then centralise everything. Then you can work out, I'll come back just a tiny bit. And then get our locking nut. Find our point. Just there. And we're done. Get it started. Then done. Right, now what we need to do is put washers on that end, and then spin this along. Right, now we can just undo that, knock that out. There's our hole. That's it. What we do now is the only problem we have is the crank comes into, so what it might be better is to keep that one on there, and we'll just use this one to turn it instead. So, and then that's it. Rotate that. And we're literally at a point. So now that's slacking that off. let's have a look at where we are with this one. Get your light. Oh, you know what? Bang on. I don't really need to adjust that one at all. That sits well nice. So now that that's done, what we need to do is seat that back there, remove all of this, tools back down there. Now we're going to start on this one. So take off my frost washers. What we're going to do is pull this out. But before we do that, what we could do is undo that. Then you can start removing that to get to there. Let's take this all off. And then slowly, keeping your finger on this, and what would be a good thing to do is put that back on, because that will give that extra centralisation, because we don't want to damage this one or this one. This one won't get damaged because it's sat within the mandrel, but this one could. Shouldn't, but you never know. So good to put this in. And then basically pull it out. You'll get to the end, and that's it. And then what you can do is completely pull it out, put it down there for a second, take everything out, and then you can start again for your next one. So now we're doing number 4. So making sure once again it's facing the right way. We're going to be pulling this way. So we need to spin that back round now. And we're going to come in this way. So we have a think about this. That would go on. We now need locking that to there. Sorry, locking up to the blue, the turquoisey light blue. Then we will go with these on, but we need to put this through. This is where it starts to get a bit harder, because we don't want to damage anything. So what a good thing would be is to actually put something inside. You could put a piece of cardboard, anything, just to stop it from hitting. I'm going to use my top. So what you could do is thread that through, grab hold of it and just seat it, just so there's no possible of damaging, and then thread that through nicely. Until you get to a point. I'm going to take that out for a second. Until you get to there. Then I'd get that, put that on there. Then remove that. Put your washer on, and then slide that all the way back through. Could pull this bit out as well. And then what you need to do is put this in place. And then slide it all back. There you go. Alright. Now, what we need to do is put that on like that. And let that go that side. Spin that round till you get to a point. Probably put that in just for a second. I'll put that one back on there. And then that's that one done. Now what we need to do is spin this one into place. So that one will sit like that. And pull that up. Put that on there. Remove that one out. Making sure that it's still in line, and then tighten there, and you'll see it going in. Let me just see if I can zoom in for you. It is tight. Imagine doing it with the hammer. It really would be tight. Right. Let's just slacken that off and let's have a look. So can go a tiny bit more. Slacken it off again. Let's just have another look. It'd be nice to get them all. This is where it gets a bit, because once it gets sat in, it gets quite not tight, but you struggle to move it. So by taking these off, taking that off, might have to just give it a tap. There you go. Now pull that back through. Pull that back on. Now pull that back, have a look. You can just go a tiny bit more. It's not going to turn, to be honest. It's not going to turn. If that. If that. There we go. What we can call it a turn. That's about as much as it needed. And that is it. So all this can now come off. I would spin this off in here. be careful to allow that to not drop. Slide that. Pull them out. Spin the rest of that out. And then carefully slide the rest of this out. Then you can take the rest of that out, slide that off, put that there. That might be a bugger to get back out because we've dropped that down. That's not a problem. Right, now take that off. There you go. Bang on. And the last one is the front. So what you're going to do is pull in this way. So turn this round, slide that on there. We want this end that's going to go and sit in there, which is the B side. We then take this and slide this all the way through, put our finger through to guide it. There we go. Then what we'll do is we will put that on, facing the correct way. That will go in like that. Then we put that on there. We put then what we need to do is remove this. As we've dropped our nut in there, let's just use this. Right. On that. Let's line this up correctly. Slightly move. and then turn it in. Unslacker it. I would just pull it through enough to be able to see. You couldn't ask any better than that. That's it. It's done. Completely done. So now, remove everything. Put things back on. Making sure you keep that there. Take that there. Take that out. Carry on moving it. And then once you get to there, let's physically take it all the way out. Get that one out. Put that one in. Tools down. That's it. So now I'll show you. So if we take a look at this one, it's all in place, all in line. Bottom's in line. Let me zoom out. That's in line. Then I can try and get in a bit better. There you go. There's no marks on them at all. They're nice and clean. That one's in line. Got a bit of a mark there, but that's only from the bushing. And then the same with that one. That's in line. And again, they're extremely clean. Unlike the ones I had done in the first place, which were terribly rough. And that's it. Once you've done it a few times, you'd be really quick at it. This is my second time of doing it. If I was to do this quite a few times, I could home this in. I could do this quite quickly. But that's it, it's done. I can put the cam in, I'll clean it all up, get any bits of metal that's come off the bearings as we've been pushing them in, because there is a few little, if you look, little flakes. Get rid of all of that, and it'd be good to put it all in and see how it is. So I'll do another video after that. Thank you.